Hey Fitheads, you may have heard that lately CrossFit is a dumpster fire. Today we talked to André Cruz, a former owner of a CrossFit gym. Now it's just 150 Bayfit is the name of his gym.
Functional fitness machine. He's also, I think technically, legally, the fittest trainer in the world. Yeah, so he's amazing. And it's a super awesome episode.
Yeah, he's the perfect guy to talk to about all this huge blow up and how he's dealing with it.
Welcome to Total Fitheads.
Serious fitness for not so serious people. Hey Fitheads, today we have André Cruz, owner and head coach of 150 Bay
Fit. 150 Bay Fit. We've shortened it. It's much easier now to say our name. We're saving people so much time. It's great.
Efficiency.
Saving time, saving money. No one has time to say that cross shit. Yeah. 150 Bayfit. I'm there. I'm ready to go.
So that's what you're doing, just efficiency, really?
Yes, that's really it. And cutting out racism. But that's an ancillary detail. We don't want to fund racism. So that's the main reason we got rid of it. But also, if you can be efficient while eliminating racism, why not merge the two ideas together?
That's great.
Yeah.
Should we start? Should we jump right in? I mean,
I thought we were in it. I'm ready.
Racism. Why don't we talk about racism in CrossFit?
All right.
How's that?
All right.
Yeah, you have an illustrious background that hopefully we'll get to, but first, let's cover this.
Let's dive right into it, because that's what everyone wants to know about. Like, what does the black guy have to think about what Greg Glassman said?
I didn't notice you're black. Yeah, I don't see color, but
yes. It's these hands. No, that's nice.
I just see Colbert also raps,
So my gut reaction. So what happened in the world over the weekend was kind of weird. Obviously, everything's kind of been escalating in tension for the last couple of weeks with George Floyd. But for the white folks, racism has been going on for a little bit of time in this country. I think our country may or may not have been built on the backs of folks who might have looked like me back in the day, maybe with a little bit more facial hair. But so Saturday is when the thing happened. I didn't find out about it until Sunday afternoon. So you are someone, Allie, who's very social media active, and you have like 100 million followers. I try to, as much as possible on the weekends, just like ignore my phone. I try not to feed the algorithm. I don't really care about that. I'm like, leave it alone. And then on Sunday, my phone is just like vibrating. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I see like CEO CrossFit racism, and I'm like, oh, what do I have to deal with now? So instead of being able to hang out with my wife and my doggies, I had to dive in, spent like a solid hour just like reading everything. So first thing I see the tweet, and it says Floyd 19 in all caps, and I'm like, this fucking idiot. Like why would you say that? Like the first thing I think is just why would anyone say that? It's not even about that's not even about racism. Well, obviously it is about racism, but it's just a disrespectful thing to put anybody's name in front of a disease that's killing hundreds of thousands of people, right? Like, let's say that
it's not funny.
Yeah,
right. Like there are times where people make distasteful jokes, and at least they're funny.
Yeah, I was looking for some deeper meaning, but there really was nothing. And then I read like the little follow-up tweet. That didn't even make sense. And so then I do a deep dive into like what happened with Rocket CrossFit, and like how he was literally just like disregarding and what did he call the woman? He said, I think the quarantine has like fried your brain or turned you crazy or something like that. And so So pretty much immediately, as soon as I saw that he said that, I'm like, I'm not going to be a CrossFit affiliate anymore. Like it wasn't even a decision I had to make. It was in my heart, in my gut. As soon as I saw that he put Flow 19, I'm like, I'm done with CrossFit. And I just kind of spent the rest of that hour just trying to get as much information as I could so that I could really make the most informed decision possible. So anyway, so that happened, and then I made like an initial statement on Sunday. I knew that I needed to say something more, but I had to kind of wrap my head, mind, heart, body around the entire thing. But kind of like what we talked about right before we turned the cameras and the microphones on was, I think that quarantine in general over the last 3 months has made most people very emotional, for lack of a better term, right? You don't have your people that you can just hang out with and say how you feel and whatever. So people are emoting all these really crazy things on social media. And so I guess if you're a racist person and you can't have your Klan rallies on a weekly basis, then like 3 months later, you just want to drop the N-word, right? But you can't say that because that's too overt. That's too overt. So what can I say that will get the same point across and also be something that's like, because I feel like Greg Glassman always tries to be relevant and he tries to be controversial to get attention drawn to him. Like when he says stuff like, Pepsi and soda will kill you. I mean, yes, it's not good for you to drink lots and lots of soda, but like if you have a soda, you're not going to die. But anyway, that's another story. So he said that, whatever he said, it didn't make any sense. But it kind of just let us know what was in his heart. And I did not know that he was a racist, but the more digging I did that day and beyond, it's, he's a pretty avid Trump supporter. And that kind of goes hand in hand with feeling a certain way about people of color. And yeah, so at that point, it was just like it's a no-brainer to kind of cut the cord and get rid of it. Very disheartening for like I literally built my life around, not my life, my career now around CrossFit. I discovered CrossFit in 2012 and got certified in early 2013. And back then I was like, yeah, this is the coolest thing ever. These are cool workouts. They're keeping me entertained. I'd done like everything under the sun before that, endurance races, bodybuilding, all that stuff. This was the one thing that was keeping me entertained and challenging me on a daily basis. So I was really just kind of like, I don't know. It's like when you are in a relationship and then someone that you're with just like does something really crazy and you're like, oh, that's who this
turns out she's
is.
a racist. Oops.
Yeah. Which the whole time that we were doing stuff and she would like call me the N-word, I thought it was just sexy. But it turns out she's actually racist. Wow, how about that?
Fit. Well, live and learn.
Live and learn, no. So it was definitely disappointing. Like before I started to make my first initial Instagram post that was like, this is an unacceptable speech. I cannot be a part of this organization. Like I was literally like, I typed the words out and I showed them to my wife. And I knew that what I was saying and doing was the right thing to do. But like I started to cry. I started to tear up. I'm like, why am I crying? Like this guy essentially just called like every black person in America, right? Like that's like when I saw Floyd 19 in my black brain, that is the equivalent of someone just saying and I was like, why am I so upset about this? Like, why is it hurting my heart? And it's that relationship thing. Like CrossFit allowed me to build my business and build my career and transition from, being a banker person to like doing really, really cool, awesome stuff and like making money doing it. And like for this fucking guy to put me in this position where I have to excommunicate him and then now like I'm essentially leading a movement to like try to get all of his money taken away from him. So I was pissed. Still am kind of pissed off about it, but I'm not pissed that he said something racist because it's like I said in my thing the other day. If I got upset or surprised every time that like an old white man said something racist, then I would never get any work done, right? Because it happens all the time. It's not surprising, but it's just very, very disappointing for the organization. And then the next day or the day after, whenever it was, when the organization or when he decides to, step down or whatever, he still owns the company. Oh, is that right? He still owns the company. It means nothing. So if I pay an affiliation fee, my money is still going to a racist. It doesn't matter if he owns 100% or 1%. I'm not giving that person a penny of my money. I know this is a very extreme reference, but like if you knew that if the world found out that somehow David Duke owned 1% of Apple, I'd throw my fucking iPhone out the window right now.
Yeah, of course.
Right now. So that's what it is, right? Like, and now we're at a point in culture. Like, I think that for Black people right now, it's kind of crazy to compare it to this, but like I think this is kind of our Me Too movement time, because Black people have been being abused forever. Women have been being abused and taken advantage of forever. But I don't know exactly what it is. It might have been the fact that it was a full 9-minute video of a man being murdered that people could easily see, and people could be like, oh my God, this is true barbarism. That kind of united everyone. It could also be a part that we've all been trapped inside for the last 3 months, and we want to like just be angry at something and emote in some kind of way. But this is a time where everybody is getting on board with the Black Lives Matter movement. I think before the last month, if you were someone that said Black Lives Matter, you're like, whoa, that guy is extreme. He's an extreme. He's one of those Black Panthers. Right. He's one of those Black Panther guys. I don't. I'm cool with black people, but I don't know about that whole because I have friends that are police officers, so and it's all crazy. But I think that this is genuinely our moment. Yeah, I mean, look at these protests, right? These are protests that they're not even majority black people anymore. There are my wife's mother sent me a picture and video of her doing a protest in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and it's her and a bunch of 50-year-old white ladies, and that's awesome. And this is kind of a unifying moment for us all to really come together and say that social injustice of any kind is really unacceptable, and it's good that there's a spotlight on it. Think about 10 years ago, if you are a lady in an office setting and your boss grabs your butt, chances are you might report it. You probably won't. But now, if a guy in the office even compliments your dress in the wrong kind of way or looks at you the wrong way, then now there's going to be a problem, right? So I think that if we can culturally move ourselves to a point where we're like, yeah, the same way that someone shouldn't be grabbing women, cops shouldn't be murdering black people, then that's, I guess, a start. But yeah, they're two very extreme things. But if we can wrap our heads around it the same way, that now, imagine a world where I can drive my car and get pulled over, and if a cop even says something to me the wrong way, I can be like, oh, officer, give me your badge number right now. I'm going to report you to somebody. And he's like, oh, afraid. And I think that the problem in the past is that all these black guys getting killed by police, nothing happens to them. Sometimes they get suspended. They usually get suspended for a week or whatever. And then sometimes they lose their job. It is very, 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 very rare that they actually get indicted and actually have to go to jail with the same people that they beat and put into jail. So if there's repercussions,
that's another part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't realize even if they do go to jail, it's like this separate cop jail for, or white collar people.
Yeah.
And they're never really put in with anyone that would have been put there by him.
Right. Exactly. Imagine if this guy, Dave, whatever his name is, if he gets put into regular jail with all the blacks, he's not going to have a great time. His butt's going to feel good. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it, what you're talking about is, it is an interesting time. It's just purely from a video accountability standpoint. I mean, even all these protests against police brutality, all we're seeing is video after video after video of more police brutality in response to the peaceful protests against police brutality, And I think that is an interesting part of this, is that with video, or you see, video is a good example, but you just see a lot more accountability, or people not allowed to get away with stuff that they've traditionally gotten away with for years and years and years. And so that's, I guess, in some sense, if you're trying to find an inkling of a silver lining, maybe people are getting caught for stuff that they have never traditionally been caught for is a good thing. Did you know anything about Greg Glassman before this, or was he just sort of a figurehead, or was he?
I met him before in real life. And when I met him, he was nice enough. So in 2017, I went to the CrossFit Games as a coach. So Maria Volcano, she owns formerly CrossFit Portchester, they unaffiliated as well. I can't remember what their new name is, but it's Portchester something fitness. But anyway, she qualified for the Masters 40 to 44 division. And I worked with her over at CrossFit Union Square before I opened up my gym. And so we went to the games together. And so I met Greg in the affiliate owners lounge. So they have at the games, they have a nice lounge where affiliate owners can go and have a free cocktail and watch the games on TV. And then Greg actually popped in and just said hi to everyone. Though. So no soda. Yeah. You're allowed to mix soda with your alcohol, but you can't drink soda by it.
Sure.
He popped in.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he was very like unassuming, just like kind of, he's very small. He's a very small man. He's like 5 foot nothing, and kind of just like, well, he has like a little bit of like a, hippie vibe to him. He was kind of walks like, hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Might have been high. That's cool. I like doing that too. But he just came in. He actually came and like talked to everyone. I thought that he was a nice guy at the time because he actually had conversations with people. He didn't just say, hey guys, thank you for being affiliate owners. I'm gonna get the hell out of here now. Like, he actually like sat and talked to people for a little bit. So I thought that he was a decent guy, but it turns out that not so much.
That's bizarre. And also kind of like off-putting a little bit to look back on something. Be like, man, was that? Yeah. Hold the phone. Actually, real quick, can you explain for everybody what goes into exactly being an affiliate, a CrossFit affiliate owner, or previously, whatever, how it works?
Yes. Okay. So number one, you have to become a CrossFit level 1 trainer. There are 4 levels of CrossFit. So most people, if you go to a CrossFit box, see, Allie's a level 1, right? Yeah.
1, yes.
There you go. So like most people who are CrossFit coaches at a box that you might have gone to in the past, they at least have their level 1. They have 2, 3, 4. Obviously it's more challenging and requires more stuff. So number 1 is you have to have your CrossFit level 1 certification, which is a weekend certification. It's like 2 days of stuff. You work out, you learn some stuff, and you have to take a written test at the end of it. So you get your level 1, and you have to practice, your gym stuff for however many hours. Over the course of 1, 2, 3 years, and then you can apply to open up your own affiliate. So then you have to just write an essay about why you think you would be a good affiliate owner, and show them your credentials, and then pretty much as long as you pay them $3,000, they don't ask too many other questions aside from that. So that is how you become a CrossFit.
$3,000 a year, right?
A year.
$3,000 a year. That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you re-up every year? Or
that is correct.
You, in theory.
In theory, in the past, yes.
And so, in return for that, you get a gold-plated wall ball. No, you just get to use their mark.
It's pretty much That's literally So you're essentially paying $3,000 a year for the right to use the name CrossFit. And one thing that I will give good old Greg CrossFit credit for is that he is crazy about hounding people that use the name CrossFit without having the dues. So I went to school at the University of Pittsburgh, and I have a number of friends who work in, marketing and business and all these other facets. My one friend, Dan, he used to work for Dick's Sporting Goods, and they were coming up with like cross training section and stuff like that. And if you use anything that is even close to CrossFit or even sounding like CrossFit, and you're like someone who's kind of like a big company, he'll send a legal team after you and be like, you have to immediately cease and desist. I don't know if you guys, have you ever heard of Manimal Strong? They're it's like a wrist wrap band. Like, they're the best wrist wraps on the market. Anyway, I know the owner of that company, and Greg Glassman tried to sue him just by saying that, like, on their website, like, these are good training grips for CrossFit. He's not even saying like use like literally saying like these are good whether you are a power lifter, weightlifter, CrossFitter, and then like they literally tried to sue this guy just for having that on their website. So I guess to his credit, he does do a good job of aggressively protecting his brand, which now is kind of worth not a whole lot unless you don't like people of color.
That's great. It reminds me a lot of when the UFC, the term UFC versus MMA, and how that was kind of a distinction that a lot of people needed to make because they thought that UFC encompassed everything about mixed martial arts. And then it took like a sort of a generation of fighters to be like, look, it's called something, not the brand name. The actual sport is called mixed martial arts. So what is going to be your approach, or do you have an approach? What's your rebranding strategy going to look like?
Chop the cross off that shit and just go, man. Like nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. Because I guess 2 things will change. So one, obviously I have to get a new website. I've like put tape over all the cross and all of I don't really own any nice clothing. The majority of the clothes that I have, I either got from Walmart or Target, like $10 t-shirt section, or it's from it's from my gym, like from all the shirts that we bought over there, and I wear them multiple times a day when I'm coaching and working out. And then just like random fitness people online are like, hey, you want like give us a shout out on Instagram, we'll send you a t-shirt and some protein. I'm like, yeah, I'll wear a free t-shirt. Sure. Because it's free and comfortable. So the majority of my clothing is free stuff or $10 Walmart stuff. So that's the main thing. I got to get some new clothes.
We have no confirmation that you're actually wearing any clothes right now.
Wait, hold on. USA.
America.
Yeah. But it's hot, man. It's summertime. I wouldn't wear a shirt anyway. I was going to put a shirt on, and then you said I didn't have to. So I'm like, great. That's why I agreed to do this interview. But aside from that, I at least have always programmed not just. I don't program very CrossFit-y style workouts, if that is a thing, right? So obviously every so often I'll throw in like a 21-15-9, or I'll throw in a workout that's like, hey guys, this is the kind of workout that you could see during the Open, which is coming up in whatever. So like we would have open training. But aside from that, I mean, like we just follow nice linear programming on all of the lifts for the most part. Like, so for example, Monday we squat, then we'll do like a conditioning piece that kind of is more leg dominant. Tuesday we focus more on like a gymnastic skill, and then do like more of a longer duration cardio workout with those gymnastic movements in it. Wednesdays we'll do either clean and jerks or snatches with some kind of conditioning. Thursday is more like a programmed active recovery. So the whole idea is, if you've done the last 3 days, you probably don't need to really be lifting any weights. So that's kind of like just a move day, just kind of sweat and stretch a lot. Friday, we go back to Olympic lifting. So whether we've done the clean and jerk or the snatch, we do whichever one we hadn't done. And then Saturdays are usually longer duration partner workouts. So nothing is really going to change. Nothing's really going to change. We're going to keep programming that kind of stuff. We're going to keep getting people strong as hell. We're going to keep having a great time when we do it. We're just not going to have cross in front of the fit. That's it.
Love it.
Yeah. The emotional part of this, I hadn't thought about, but really, like, I mean, I don't know if I have a personality if there's no CrossFit. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, the only thing about me is talking about AMRAPs. But no, seriously, like, like, I've heard a comparison that going to gyms is now like modern day church. And you have transcendent experiences, and you see the same people, and you feel this connection. And us as humans need that. And that's all tied up in this CrossFit thing that we really cared about. But now, like, so it makes sense that people are not just mad, but hurt that this is being taken away. But, like, I want to move that to say, like, what have you seen about the community coming together? Because it really has nothing to do with that mark. And... is it that you're talking to other gyms and it really still feels like something and people working together? How are you getting past it?
So I think a few things are happening. Honestly, I have very, very poor, I guess, Insta engagement on my thing. So like normally I have like 20 something thousand followers. So like normally on like a good day, I'll get, like a couple thousand views on my thing, right? And then, maybe a couple of comments, nothing crazy. The video that I posted, I don't even know what it's at now. I think it's at like 20,000 views and like 500 comments or something crazy like that. And so clearly I said some shit that a lot of people were feeling in their hearts. So the outpouring from the fitness community has been incredible, and it lets me know for sure that like what I said is true, and like we're gonna be fine without them, because everyone's like, you know what, yes, it hurts, it sucks that he did this, but we are the CrossFit community, we are the fitness community. We don't need to pay a racist guy $3,000 a year to keep doing what we're doing, right? Like you can still go to your local box. I'm still referring to 150 Bay Fit as a box, because it is, it's a box. I'm still referring it to it that way. And you can still go and you can do kick-ass workouts. You can still go and have fun with people. You can still go and socially distance high-five people, right? Like you can still have all of what CrossFit was, but CrossFit wasn't just that. I mean, we are it. It's the people. It's the people. And Greg Glassman, unless he came into every single CrossFit affiliate and just like kicked everyone in the groin, he essentially can't do anything to stop us from doing what we're doing. We can keep having great workouts, we can keep having fun together, and we can keep having, parties that we do like that. That's what it's all about. It's the community, and you can't stop that no matter what.
No, absolutely not. That's a great
What are we
approach.
going to call it? Is it like functional fitness? Is it strength and conditioning?
Yeah, I think functional fitness is the way to go. So I think if we can all, as former affiliates, just somewhere on your website have functional fitness in your Google keyword searches, put functional fitness. And I think if we can all just kind of align under like we are functional fitness gyms, functional fitness boxes, whatever you want to call us, I think that's the way that now people who were once avid CrossFitters who would go traveling around, dropping in from box to box, I think now instead of Googling CrossFit, you just Google functional fitness. This is speculation. I don't know anything. I would imagine, if they're smart, and I think that they are, Rogue Fitness will step up and do something. They have a fair amount of money. They have like a huge following because they have been the brand of CrossFit, and they essentially bankrolled like all the CrossFit events anyway, right? Like literally any piece of equipment was a Rogue rig, it was a Rogue barbell, it was a Rogue sandbag, it was a Rogue worm, it was all these little objects that they had. So I think Rogue can create the Rogue Fitness Games, and it's still the sport of fitness. You can still have an open and a regionals. They could, I think, if they're smart, they would reintroduce regionals, because I think that's a big mistake. That's not a racist thing that Greg Glassman did, just a dumb thing that he did by getting rid of regionals. I mean, that was an opportunity for some of the best athletes in the world to really showcase themselves, right? Because at the CrossFit Games, you're seeing the top like 40 guys and the top 40 women. But there are a lot of people who are fitter than me, but not as fit as those guys. And it's still really, really cool to watch and see what they can do. And, from a business perspective, think about these guys and girls, right? They're killing themselves. To be a regionals athlete, you have to be someone who's working out, 4+ hours a day, like putting in work. You probably look like me and you are fitter than I am. And like, there should be some place for you to go to show people how damn awesome you are. And that's a way for you as a fitness professional, whether you're a personal trainer or an affiliate owner, or just someone who's, trying to make some extra cash. Like, that is a way for you to go out and showcase yourself. And I think he robbed the fitness community of that by getting rid of regionals without really any explanation other than saying, oh, it was expensive to do regionals, so we just don't want to do it anymore. Like that was the excuse. And then he goes and fires all the marketing staff for the same reason, because it's expensive. But like, how are you going to promote your brand if you don't have people to promote your brand?
Hey, racism. Everybody's talking about
it.
Everyone's talking about it. Oh, man. Racism.
Well, the people like running this new regionals, it's like, it's going to have to be a complete regime change.
Yeah.
Like, Dave Castro moved in. I know you talked about how like the step down means nothing, but like, how do you feel about Dave Castro moving in?
I don't know. I don't know Dave Castro. But once again,
you thought you knew Glassman.
Right. Right. Like, exactly. Exactly. So here's what I can tell you. I have heard less positive things about Dave Castro than I have about Greg Glassman before Greg Glassman dropped the proverbial N-word, right? Like, most people that have met Dave Castro feel like that guy's a dick. And so I have not, and I would not expect, and I would not be surprised if he also is someone who might drop a hard in from time to time with his friends, right? I don't know that he is, and I won't put that on him, but like, he still works that closely with the man. And if you work that closely with someone for that many years, like, CrossFit's been around for 20 years, right? And he's one of the guys that's been there from the very beginning. So you have to know the kind of person that you're sleeping with at that point. Like, he's been in business with this guy for the last 20 years. So you probably know. I'm not saying anything that Dave Castro is this way, but it is not unlikely that they may share some similar views about that kind of stuff. But also, just to go up and say, all right, CrossFit issued their apology. And you guys probably saw the apology, right? They said, and I quote, it wasn't racist, it was a mistake. that in itself is racist and a mistake for you to say that. It wasn't racist. It was just a mistake that I like hit send on the tweet. I should have just like told it to my friends. Like that's what the mistake was. The mistake was that you didn't say it at your clan rally. You said it and you pressed a button, and then millions and millions and millions of people saw it. So anyway, the organization is still owned by him, and I think that if they were really trying to make change, which they really can't because Greg Glassman owns the company, they would say, all right, Greg Glassman, you are out as owner, and we're going to hire a black woman as CEO. We're going to establish a George Floyd Memorial Scholarship Fund. We're going to open up CrossFit boxes in underrepresented communities, because if black kids discovered CrossFit when they were young, game over. Game over, Matt Frazier. Game over. Not saying that, but like there aren't a lot of blacks in the CrossFit games, and it's not because we aren't talented. It's because we don't know about the shit, right? Like I didn't discover weightlifting. My first time I ever followed a squat program, I was like 27 years old. Imagine if I started doing CrossFit when I was a teen. Imagine if I did CrossFit Kids and then did CrossFit Teens. Right? I'm a pretty strong guy. I'm pretty fit. I'm pretty decent. But like, imagine if I was just introduced to that skill, that function earlier in my life. Imagine if LeBron James started doing CrossFit when he was a kid, right? Imagine if Odell Beckham.
You see that with a million sports, you know, like, right. And forgetting about color for a second, the earlier a child adopts a sport, it's like meteoric how much better they are when they learn it at a younger age. Yeah, so, you know, skiing, water polo,
right.
Hockey.
Yeah, and like those are things that, you know, they don't have. You can't go skiing in the ghetto, right? Like it's not a thing that you do, and it's just a matter of resources. So anyway, if CrossFit had done all of those things, Greg Glassman divests all of his ownership, donates money to you know, underrepresented communities. They hire a black woman as a CEO. They start all these funds. Rehire the marketing staff, reestablish regionals. If CrossFit did all of those things, I'd be like, okay, I'll get back on board, maybe. maybe. I'll think about it. Give me my first year back as an affiliate for free, and then I'll think about it. But like, no, I don't think there's any coming back for them, because he owns the company, and they, as a company, did not make a statement saying that what he said was bad. That's the least they could have done. The least they could have done as an organization is say that his comments were unacceptable and racist. They said they weren't racist, they were a mistake. Yeah.
Such a shame.
Well, and it just like makes it so clear that really you're paying for nothing, and now now you're paying for negativity.
Right. Yeah. Back to your question. I mean, you asked what we were paying for, and like, to become an affiliate. Yeah. Like, you don't really get anything. There was a time when I was first getting started on the Instagrams, circa like 2014, 2015, where, you know, I just had like 200 Facebook friends, and then it kind of started, you know, tagging my workouts every day, and then it grew a little bit, and then CrossFit reposted me deadlifting like 570 something pounds, and then I blew up, and then I went from having like 1,000 followers to like 10,000 followers within a couple of months, and then it just goes exponential after that. So, and then they reposted me a couple of other times. They reposted me like doing muscle ups on a tree while my dog was running around. Like a bunch of other like random feats of fitness that I had done in my earlier years in CrossFit. So like for me, every time that they would post me, I'd get like another couple thousand followers. And for me, as someone who's trying to open up my own box, I'm like, man, this is great. Like now I can be like, okay, it doesn't matter if I live in New York or North Carolina or California. If I move somewhere and I want to open up a gym, I can say, hey, you know, this many people are following me, so I have a little bit of credibility within the fitness community. So, but now it's not even a thing. I remember seeing on CrossFit's page, they used to every day they would highlight someone, and it wasn't even people that were doing freakish things like I am. It was just, hey, this is Bob over in Alabama, and he has his little CrossFit gym, and it's just a really, really, really well, pretty edited picture of him doing like a back squat. And then that might make someone that lives in his town be like, oh, well, that looks cool. I think I might go check that out. And like that was CrossFit's, I think, main benefit for affiliation is that they would highlight their coaches, they would highlight the affiliates, and then one day out of nowhere, Greg Glassman's like, oh, we're just going to cut off all of our social media. And they had a 2 million follower CrossFit account, and then they just canceled it, just completely deleted it. And he had some weird holier than thou comment like, we're trying to reach fitness. It's not just about social media. But like, if you're actually trying to make the world a fitter place, don't you think you could reach more people if you have 2 million people who are following you?
Yeah. Well, that's, I think, maybe one of the benefits of CrossFit was the sense of community, and maybe maybe CrossFit as an entity helped sort of promote that and brought it to places where people didn't know what it was, or brought it to people who weren't aware of it. But at the same time, I think that helped tremendously for a sport that was growing. Do you think CrossFit or functional fitness, whatever we're calling it now, do you think it's established enough that it doesn't need that sort of centralized body anymore? Or do you think that someone needs to step in, Rogue Fitness, whatever, and sort of take over that role?
I do think that if you are an established community, so like 150 Bay Fit, we've been open now for this is our third year, so it will be 3 years old in October. So like we have a solid foundation of members, we have a community, and regardless of what our name is, these are people that are going to come and work out with me and have a good time and have a beer afterwards, no matter what. So for folks like me, it's not, I don't think, that big of a deal. Where it is harder is if you're someone who wants to open up a gym today and you're like, okay, what is my niche? Like, what's going to set me apart from a Gold's Gym or a Planet Fitness or an LA Fitness or one of those kind of gyms? And some people are not necessarily creative enough to come up with a strategy. Maybe there's someone who isn't in the best physical shape themselves, which is perfectly fine. There are a lot of coaches out there who have, real life stories that they're just someone who, I'm not the fittest guy in the world, but I'm going to work my ass off. I used to be heavy. I'm not like, I don't have a six pack, but I'm in much better shape than I was. Like, those are inspirational stories in themselves. Mm-hmm. So these are people who might have trouble reaching out to people who don't really know what they're about without having that CrossFit backdrop behind them. I do think that they're going to be like already Jason Khalipa. He unaffiliated all of his CrossFit gyms, and I think that was really significant because he's been in the CrossFit game forever. I think he won the CrossFit game one of the first year. He has like he has a crazy amount of gyms. Anyway, I just saw last night he's launching a thing called NC Fit. And that allows gyms to kind of buy in to his fitness philosophy, and so they provide programming, they provide gym management resources, they provide just all the kinds of things that CrossFit actually did not do. So like CrossFit, obviously they give you like the workout of the day, and they give you a certification, and they kind of like slap you on your ass and go. So like some CrossFit boxes, they literally just program whatever the CrossFit main site workout of the day. So that's just a whole new level of lazy. But so like those gyms probably will not survive this, and that's okay because they probably weren't that great anyway. There were like 15,000 affiliates worldwide before quarantine. I think when quarantine started, at least a few thousand of them, like over the last couple of months, have had just for financial reasons have had to drop off. And I think that gyms that don't have really, really strong leadership, don't have good coaching, that don't have good programming, they're really going to be like left bare. And now that they don't have this big catalyst to fall back on, then I think they're just going to kind of wither away. But anyway, Jason Khalipa, he's offering this really cool program, and I'm sure that there'll be some other folks that might step into that role as well. So I do think that people starting off might need a little bit of a pat on the butt to give them some structure. But if you're someone who's established and you have a good community, I don't think that you have to. I have thought about this a lot over the last couple of days. I don't really see for me the benefit of just jumping on to someone else's platform and just like paying someone else money. Like at this point, let's just take $3,000 and then we can have a couple of really good parties for my members over the course of the year. You know. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I do think there really does need to be a unifying thing to work up to. That's why I really hope that Rogue and or Nike work together to come up with something like that, because I think there has to be an Olympics of this sport. Like there has to be some reason why we're all killing ourselves every day, right? Like for most of us, we're just working out. At the end of the day, we're working out because we want to look good naked, and we want to get stronger, and we want to like have fun and work out with people, and not just be on a treadmill walking for an hour at a time. But for like there's that super section of the population. Like even if you're not a super competitive athlete, you will get fired up if you watch somebody doing something that is impossible. You know, like I remember when I first started doing CrossFit back before Instagram, and I was watching videos on YouTube, and I saw a guy clean and jerk like 290 pounds. And I was like, oh my God, that is impossible. How did you do that? And like now I could probably do that with no shoes on, right? Like it's crazy. It's crazy how much you can develop, but all it takes, it's seeing that one bright shining star, and you're like, man, I don't think that's possible. But with consistency and dedication, you can get yourself up to a pretty high level. Like right now, 290-pound clean and jerk is like nothing. You know, the elite guys are clean and jerking, 365 plus. Some of them can do it with 400 pounds. They're all like all the elite guys can snatch 300 pounds and above. So it's just there's something really cool about seeing freaks work out. It's like that's what the whole NFL is, right? It's a bunch of giants doing stuff that you could not do, but you're like, yes, 300-pound man run into another 300-pound man and see who gets up, right?
Faster than I can drive.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's interesting you brought it. How would you? I mean, this is a loaded question. How would you program your CrossFit games, your fit games, your
the functional fitness games,
FFG?
The FFG. Oh, that's actually it.
Write it down.
FFG. I will give Dave Castro credit. I think that last year's games was really well programmed. And a lot of people were kind of having like a shit fit about it. So last year was, I think, one of the first years that obviously they didn't have regionals, and they had it so that if you were the fittest person in your country, you were able to go to the CrossFit Games, which is kind of unfair because the fittest guy in Morocco probably isn't as fit as like the 1,000th fittest guy in New York City, realistically speaking. Because I've
not
looked.
Even talk about LA.
Right, LA. You guys got crazy fit people out there. Well, like seriously, that's what happens, right? So, one of my members, actually, a guy named Peter. He's an Irish man who travels all around the world, but he lived in Morocco for a little while, and there was one year where he was the fittest man in Morocco. Now, Peter, no disrespect to Peter, he's super fit. Like he can do burpees really fast, and he can do like body weight stuff, but he's not strong. Like I think his 1 rep max clean and jerk is like 200 something pounds, like low 200s, which no disrespect to Peter, but like you cannot compete at a games level with a 200-pound clean and jerk. And so what happened is day one, so long digression, day one of the games last year, they have all these people from all these countries that are working out with like all of the superhumans of America. and so like the first 3 heats, it's a shit show. The first workout was a 400-meter run, 2 legless high rope climbs, and then I think 7 or 8 snatches at 185 pounds for guys, 125 pounds for ladies. I think it was 3 or 4 rounds as fast as your body will allow. And what they did was after that event, if you did not place in the top whatever, you go home. You're done. I think that was brilliant because that workout has monostructural, so it has running. It has, gymnastics. It has a high skill gymnastic movement, like being able to climb a rope with no arms. It's something that you have to be strong. Like I remember seeing this one woman. She was wearing like one of the hinge up things, and like she killed the run. She was the first person back to the rope, and just stared at the rope for the remainder of the time cap. Like she literally could not do a legless rope climb. And there were plenty of guys, same thing, who got through the rope climbs, struggled through them, and then literally could not snatch 185 pounds. So I think it was good to kind of whittle it down that way. So that first event was good. The second one was it was rowing, shoulder to overhead, and then like unbroken handstand walk. I think that was also a good test. Once again, monostructural, pure endurance, and then like, can you do a high skill gymnastic movement when your shoulders are jacked up? So I think that day was good. They had some running and some swimming. They had a 1 rep max clean event. They did a couple of benchmark CrossFit workouts. I think they did Mary, which is a 20-minute AMRAP of pistol squats, handstand push-ups, and pull-ups. I think this year's games were pretty well-rounded. So I think I would try to program it the same way that I program, for my athletes, in that it's stuff that, most people cannot do, but it has to be a test of all of the different facets, right? Like, you need to be able to not just run, but you need to be able to run and then lift heavy weights after. And you need to be able to lift heavy weights and also do high skill. Right.
We're missing that.
So fitness in some sort of a functional, I guess, way. Is that the way?
Some kind of a functional way. You know what I think would be cool, and I think that's something that whoever comes up with the next names they should do. They should have them do like PT tests that like firemen have to do. It's like, all right, here's a 200-pound dummy. You got to carry it from here all the way up the stairs. You got to carry like a hose all the way up. Then you got to carry the body all the way down, and you have to do it faster than everybody else, like some true functional stuff. And then, make them clean 500 pounds in the middle of it.
How many grocery bags can you carry from the car to the house?
All the way up my arm. All the way up my arm. Can't even fit through my door. So I think I would do, stuff like that. So just like anything, the whole idea is to test different modalities through different time and space and work capacities and, the blah, 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 blah. You have your level 1, Allison. You know what I'm talking about. Time,
totally prepared to not open a box.
Time domains.
I hate to put you on the spot here, but as speaking of specific competitions, as Men Health Magazine's fittest trainer, is it of all time or is it?
Well, here's the deal with that.
Do you remember how that broke down? And do you think that? I mean, it looks to me like a pretty awesome. There's not a lot of gymnastics there, but it looks like a pretty awesome breakdown. Or do you remember how that went? And so I got to talk to you about rounds and then how that broke down.
Okay, so yes, I'm the reigning Men's Health Magazine fittest trainer, only because they haven't done it since that year. But hey, come take it from.
Broke the mold.
Take it from. Okay, so that was
taking it.
That. Come on, Allie, let's go. No, they had Men's Health women's fittest trainer too. Yeah, so they did the guys and the ladies the same day. So yeah, a woman named Chelsea. I can't remember her last name, but Chelsea. She's a blonde woman, lived up here in New York. I think she has since moved, but she won the women's side of things. So anyway, so this was 2017. I didn't even know it was like an actual competition. So my buddy Mike Dewar, who I've been training with, at CrossFit Union Square for a couple of years before at that point, he just worked out with me there, and then he has his own personal training business in New York. So we're like, colleagues, training bros, all that stuff. And so he's like, hey, Dre, I got this invitation to this Men's Health thing. It's on this Friday. Can you come? I'm like, yeah, I'll try. At that point, my gym was.
Oh, you weren't tapering by then?
my gym was 2 weeks old. At that point, my gym was 2 weeks old. So I opened the gym that morning, and then I coached until like 1 o'clock, and then I get on a bus and I go into Manhattan, and I get there and there's like just a line. It's like a meat market out the door. So they did it at where was it? At Brick Grand Central in Manhattan, and there's just a line like around the block of just like meatheads. Like they're just guys. Like there were guys in line that made me look like a little child. Like guys that are just like that would probably fill this entire Skype screen with their torso and their arms and their lats. And so like there's hot guys, right? So they're like 100 dudes that are just like strong. So it's like anyone, like if you are a trainer in Manhattan, then you were at this thing. And so I get there and I'm like, oh, I thought this was just going to be like a meet and greet. Like I honestly went there and I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to do like a little bit of exercise and then we're just going to like eat tacos and I'm going to get to like gab with the editor of Men's Health and try to get them to promote my gym. I'm like, this is a great marketing opportunity. So I get there. I'm like, all right, guys, so go ahead and put your stuff down in the lockers. And we're going to start with the first heat. And you have 3 events. So the 3 events were max unbroken bench press at 185 pounds. Event number 2 was a max broad jump. You have 2 attempts to jump as far as you can. And then the third event was max effort calorie row in 1 minute. Okay. So you pretty much, you're literally just on like a 3-minute clock. So you're like, all right, you're going to do your bench press. You have 1 minute to do as many reps as you can. And then as soon as you're done with that, transition over to your jump. And then you have a minute to do that. And then transition over to your rower and then kill yourself. So I get on the bench. I'm in like, I think the first or the second heat. All of the women, they went first, and then the guys went over. So I think I was in like the first heat of the dudes. And so I get on my bench press. I used to, was that a puppy back there? Hey, puppy. I used to have a very, very, very strong bench press. So 2017, when I transitioned from working at CrossFit Union Square as a coach and a trainer to opening up my own gym, there was like a 2-month-long period where I didn't bench press at all, because the only working out that I did was like just moving all of the gym equipment into the gym, like building assault bikes. And if you guys have ever been like in a typical box, we have like those 4x6 rubber stall mats. Each of those weighs 100 pounds, and to outfit a 5,000 square foot facility with those is a lot of dragging. So pretty much all I had done. Yeah, a lot of fingers. Like my forearms were jacked up for about a month. But like that's pretty much like all I did. And then I'm like, oh well. Normally, like in the past, if you'd asked me to like rep out 185, I'd be like, yeah, I can probably get minimum 30, like without even batting an eyelash. And then this day, I didn't even do well. I think I got like 19, and which I know is, to most people that's a lot, but like to someone who's been benching since they were in high school, that's not like I think the first time I benched 300 pounds, I was 18 years old. So like for me, 185 was not a whole lot. So I'm like, oh man, well, I didn't do very well in this event, so that's fine. I'm pretty good at jumping. So I did pretty well in the jump. And then the row, I'm also pretty good at rowing. So like I just sent it to the moon there. So after that, there were like another 8 heats of guys that had to go. I didn't know at all how I placed. I'm like, my bench really sucked. Because even my buddy Mike Dewar, who had introduced me to the event, he was like, we asked each other how we did. I beat him on the row, I beat him on the jump, and he beat me on the bench press. Like he did like 20 something. And like, no offense to Mike Dewar, I love him, but he's not stronger than I. He just happened to have benched a little bit more than I had within that time. So I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it to the next round. Let's just work out. So meanwhile, me, Mike, and a guy named Nick, we just go into the back and we have like a full-on Olympic lifting session. So like we're doing a bunch of snatches. I ended up PRing my power clean, just like fucking around. I hit like 325 that day. And then they're like, all right,
so
guys.
You're doing
like,
a side workout. You're like, oh, well, I'm out of this. Might as well get a workout.
Yeah.
Okay, just check.
I might as well do something, make some use of my time here. And go ahead and let's gather back in, and we're going to announce it. So out of the 100 guys that came in, I somehow snuck into the top 5, even with my subpar bench press. And I'm like, oh, all right. And at that point, I'm like, I guess we're not getting tacos. And also, there are night classes at my gym that need to be taught, and I'm supposed to be teaching them. So thankfully, I was able to call one of my coaches and be like, hey, can you cover me tonight? I'm doing this thing. Like, yeah, sure. So that was okay. So the events of the finals, you ready for these? Event number 1 is a max height box jump. Okay, reasonable. Event number 2 is max rep unbroken deadlifts at 225 pounds. And then event number 3 is max calories on the assault bike in 2 minutes. So take things back a little bit. Before I found CrossFit, when I was still a bartender, when I was living out in Pittsburgh, one of my good friends out there, a guy named Rodney Wallace, who kind of looks like the Predator.
Oh yeah,
like
I know Rod.
Yeah. You know Rodney? Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, yeah.
Everyone in Pittsburgh knows each other.
he's kind of like he's one of the few people that look like him in Pittsburgh. So he's like a 6'4", he's like a 6'4" black dude with dreadlocks, and he's pretty jacked. So like you'd be like, you must play for the Steelers or something, but like he's a large man. So anyway, so him and I started training parkour together. Just because like back then I saw the videos on YouTube and I was like, oh man, I want to do it. He's like, oh, I actually do. So we started working out with each other, like 3-4 times a week. And so we did lots and lots of jumping, lots and lots of pull-ups. So going into the jumps, I always felt pretty confident about my jump. So the way that they had it set up is like a conga line style, right? So they would have a box started at a height that everybody could do. Everyone jumps on it, gets off. They add another 6 inches. Jump, add, carry on. So you get to a point.
A reverse limbo.
Yes. Yeah. Reverse limbo.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So we get to a point where I think I was the third guy in line. So the first guy goes. Well, at this point, 4 out of the 5 of us were still in it. One guy, he was already out. He missed like an earlier box jump. 4 of us are left. And so
you get one shot, or what do you do?
You get one shot. You get one shot. So yeah. So we get to the
and
box.
you've also jumped a bunch beforehand too.
Yes. So you have fatigued the muscles, and not to mention all the weightlifting I was doing. So no big deal there. So then, guy number 1 goes. He misses.
Oh my god.
He misses, and I'm like, okay. Guy number 2 goes. He misses, and I'm like, okay. And then I come up, and I go for it, and I missed, and I was like, fuck. I was close. I missed. But then the guy behind me, he didn't make it either. So they're like, okay, we're gonna keep it at this height. Everybody gets one more attempt. And then we'll decide what to do after that. So the first guy goes, misses again. Second guy goes, misses again. And then it's me. If you have if you have the ability to do this, you should definitely, when you do this podcast, juxtapose it with the video of this jump, because it's fucking epic, right? So at that point I'm like, okay, I can get this. I was really close. I missed it by like this much. I just kind of caught it on my one foot. If I tuck my legs up, I think I can do it. So I start like hyping up the crowd. I'm like, let's go. I start like slapping myself. Like everyone's cheering for me. And I just kind of use the power of the crowd. And somehow I snuck my way up. That box was 60 inches.
Oh my
that's
god,
so
that's
high.
how tall I am.
I know.
Oh my god, you almost jumped onto my head.
I know. And like I made it, and I was like, let's go. And then as soon as I made that, I was like, I'm gonna win this whole thing. Like there's no way I can lose because. Yeah. So we go to the second event of the finals, deadlifts at 225. My 1 rep max deadlift, one of the things that first got me famous from CrossFit, was 571. But before this competition, I had PR'd maybe a few months before at 580 something pounds. So to me, I'm like 225. No big deal, right? So before the event, I was talking to some of the other guys that were in the finals. A guy named Adrian, really really nice guy. And just kidding to Adrian, I'm like, so what, you're going to try to go for what, like 55? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I'm going to try to get 55. So I just reversed my grip. And because I had won the event before, they gave me the courtesy of letting me face all the other athletes while they were facing me. So I at least kind of knew who was doing what. So I hook grip that bitch, and I just start going. It starts to hurt around 25, and just keep going 1 at a time, 2 at a time, 3 at a time, just keep chipping away. And then as I'm going, I probably get to like 30 something. One of the guys drops off. I'm like, okay, keep going. I get to like 40. Another guy drops off. So then it's me and 2 other guys, and they're still going. I get to, I think I'm in somewhere near 50. I lost count at this point. I had a judge counting for me, and then he drops off, and there's just one other guy, me and this guy named Rain Train, I think is his name, Rain or Roan. He works out at the Dog Pound, but he is like, I think he's from South Africa, and he is just a giant, like Viking looking man. Once again, a person who makes me look small, and he and I are the only ones that are still holding on to the barbell. And I'm like, I don't know how many reps this guy has got. So I asked my buddy, I was like, Mike, how many does he have? And he's like, don't worry about it. Just keep fucking going. And so I just keep going. Eventually he drops, and then he dropped, and I just did 5 more. And then I'm like, okay. And then dropped it. So everything comes and gets tallied, and I did 60. Unbroken.
Oh my God.
And I think Rain, he got just under 50 or just over. He got like either 51 or like 49 or something like that. And so I'm like, okay, this is mine. Like I'm gonna win. Like I statistically, like I have to win right now. So go into the final event, and that's the max calories on the assault bike. I spent a decent amount of time training on the assault bike because it's terrible and fitness. So I felt okay about it. I know how bad 1 minute max effort feels on it, so I didn't go max effort. I went at an uncomfortable but manageable pace. I wasn't trying to win this event. I was just like, all right, as long as I get like second or third place in this event, I'll be fine. So I'm just kind of going. It hurts. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And 2 minutes is so, yeah, right? Like 10 seconds on that thing is bad. Like 2 minutes is bad. So I'm going. And I'm like, my legs are locking up. Like, I feel like I'm bleeding on the inside. I'm not having a great time. And like, I kind of just like collapse. I kind of like collapse and fall off the bike. And I'm like, I hope that was good enough because I don't have anything left in me. And they're like, all right, so after that event, we have a tie for first place. And I'm like, motherfucker, no.
It's a setup.
Yeah. So the guy Rain, he actually ended up going ham on it. And so I think I got like 80 calories. He got like 100 or something crazy. So he got first place. I got third place. So that ended up just kind of balancing us out so that now we were tied in terms of our overall point total. So we had to go to a tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker was max effort bar facing burpees in 1 minute. And at that point in my life, I really did not like doing burpees. I mean, I still don't like them, but like I just have done them a lot more. Who likes doing them?
No one likes doing them. What point are you at now? Good Lord.
Well, there comes the point where you just like
to burpees.
Yes. Basically a burpee is pretty much just a sun salutation, but just faster.
Way faster.
If you break down the movement, it's the same thing. So,
wow. I've been doing yoga this whole time.
That's all we're doing. Just doing yoga with weights. And I'm like, man,
yoga
I don't know how I feel about this, but I'm just gonna go as hard as I can. One cool little mental thing that my buddy Nick, before the event started, before we went to the finals, he was like, hey, just go and touch the first place prize. The first place prize is an Ironman kettlebell, painted gold, and it says like just like number one. Yeah, it's like an Ironman head with a kettlebell attached. It's awesome. It's awesome. He's like, just go touch it.
And so I went and I'm not looking at it right now. You don't just sit with it on the couch all the time.
It's at the gym. It's at the gym. Actually, it's like okay. I have like a little award shrine at the gym, so it's like that, and then a couple of other races that I've done.
Spoiler.
It's not a shrine. Oh wait, spoiler what happened? Well, everyone knows that I won. So anyway, that's how we live. I'm the champion. We all know that I won. So anyway, so I go into the event and I'm like, I'm just gonna close my eyes and go. It's only 1 minute. So
wait, you touched the thing. Did that make a difference? You touched touching the trophy beforehand? Is that what you like?
Oh, yes. So Nick told me. Nick said, "Hey, touch it because if you touch it, it's yours." And I'm like, "All right." It was like a good little mental thing, but maybe it worked. So I go into that.
Hasn't worked at the bar. Okay.
That's how you get arrested. If I touch her, she's mine, right? That's how I met my wife. You're mine, right?
You touched her, or you beat her at max burpees in under a minute?
Both. I touch her.
How romantic.
So I go and I just kind of close my eyes and just go as fast as I can. I ended up getting 30, which I think is at that point in my life the most I'd ever done in a minute. And then the guy next to me, we were kind of neck and neck for the first like 30 seconds. But he is a larger human being than I am. And I think the fact that he like really killed the bike just like blew him up. And so like I think I got 30 and he got like 26. So I won. And that is how I became the Men's Health Magazine Fittest trainer. Yeah. So I mean, I don't believe in my heart that I am the fittest person who is a personal trainer in the world. However, I won that fucking competition. So
legally, I think you are. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, no. So here's the interesting thing about that. Like, I do not think that it was a good pure fitness test because it was a series of max effort, like anaerobic stuff. And I would argue I could go head to head with Matt Frazier in 1 minute of something.
Mm-hmm.
If it was 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, obviously he'll run circles around me, but I can go ham. Like my power output is such that I can like shut my brain off and just go for a minute. You know, I'm a pretty big guy, but my power output does not extend beyond that. He would run laps around me if it was anything else. But I think in terms of that test, that anaerobic test, I am one of the fitter humans in the country, I guess. I don't know. So that's how I won. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then they
So
came in.
wait, are you opening up now?
Yeah, we are.
Is
We're
your gym
opening up
now after Corona. Okay.
Not yet. We're opening up. We're doing like a soft open next week. So our governor, the other day, just out of nowhere, he just like dropped a bunch of like tweets and direct and Instagram posts like right after his daily press conference, and he's like, "All right, stay home orders lifted," and we're like, "What?" Just out of nowhere. So he's been very good. Like every day he posts kind of what's happening. He's like, all right, this is the death count, this is the hospitalization count. Like we're green in these categories, we're red in these categories. So we've been trending down for the last, like we've been doing a very good job. I think New Jersey is actually #1 state in the country in terms of testing. Like me and a bunch of my coaches got tested. I'm like, they've made everything very, very, very easy for people to try to get themselves into a good spot. So he said that, and then he also said that indoor gatherings up to 25% of the building's capacity or up to 50 humans, whichever one is less, you may have in your space. Our new space, we actually we moved from the second floor down to the ground floor. So our current space is a little bit smaller, but it's nicer. It's about 3,500 square foot. So our fire code calls for 66 people. We're going to be allowing only 10 people in. So we're like going below what is required. We also kind of like sectioned off little 8x8s for people just to be in when they're in the box. So instead of like normal CrossFit box, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go work out in my corner over here. I'm gonna work out wherever I want to. Everyone's just gonna be put in their own little box. We got a thermometer, so people when they come in, we have to check their temperature, and we have it so that when you walk in, it's kind of like an assembly line. You go in, hug the perimeter of the gym, pick up whatever equipment you need, go into your box, stay there. If you need anything else, one of the coaches will grab it for you. We'll be wiping the hell out of everything. We'll be ending classes at least 10 minutes early so that people have a chance to wipe everything down and get everything clean. So yeah, 150 Bay Fit in Jersey City. We will not be open to everybody just yet. We're starting with members only, just because I want to make sure that all my members are able to book themselves into class before we start letting new people come in. But I would imagine by the middle of July that we'll be able to start accepting new folks and getting after it.
Solid.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
How has it been as a person who wants to stay fit themselves and as an owner operator? Stressed
during quarantine.
Yeah.
During quarantine. Honestly, hold on 1 second. I just got an alert that my laptop is dying. I'm gonna plug it in, so we're gonna just change locations.
Sure.
Walk with me. Ooh, there's a tour. There's another dog.
Hi, buddy.
Aww.
That's the big one. That's Holly. That's my favorite girl. She's sweet. She's very sleepy because Jersey bites her all the time. So anyway, I have found my plug here. Now we're in the kitchen section. This is my wife's laptop, so pardon me as I find the plug. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. So there I am. That's an obnoxious light, but I'll stand here. Okay, so anyway, I just knocked over a beverage. That's good also. All right. Messing everything up. What were we talking about? Reopening. Oh, quarantine and having a gym during that time. So March 6th, our mayor, I remember that day vividly. It was a Monday morning. I come into the gym. We have our 5:30 class. And like that weekend, a couple of days before, New York City got shut down. So they're like, you can't go to bars anymore. You can't go to gyms anymore. Hoboken, which is the city right north of us, their gyms and bars were also closed. So I'm like, it's only a matter of time before we get shut down. So that Sunday I came in and I just like from the gym, I took a squat rack, a barbell, a couple of dumbbells, and like 400 pounds worth of weights because I need it. And then that Monday I'm in class and I'm like joking to the guys. I'm like, hey guys, like go hard today because there's a chance this is going to be the last time you're going to work out here for a while. And they're like, ha 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 ha. And then at 6:30 that morning, the mayor issued the stay home order for Jersey City, and that all non-essential businesses had to close. And I'm like, well, there we go. So immediately I'm like, okay, what can we do so that we don't lose all of our members? So I'm like, immediately we have to start doing online classes. So that afternoon we did our first online class, and then we came up with an equipment rental program where every member gets either a dumbbell or a kettlebell to take home with them. And then I created a schedule for myself. So instead of me just like kind of pissing around and feeling sad for myself that my gym isn't open, I get up every morning at like 6. And then I go down into my garage, and then I film Health as Wealth. That's my like little workout series that I started in, I think, July or June of 2019 as just a way for people to be able to work out with minimal equipment. So I'm like, cool, I've been doing this for the last, 9 months at this point. So like I know how to create a bunch of workouts that people can do using either just their body weight or a dumbbell or a kettlebell. So I do those. Those ones are always short, like 8 to 10 minutes. Then we go to the gym, and then so I'm physically still able to go to my gym because I'm the owner. So then me and one of my coaches, Sarah, we do what we call 150X, kind of like our take on P90X, where we actually lead them through like a full-on class workout. So I came up with ways that we could continue doing strength programming and high school gymnastics, or not high school, but like gymnastic strength programming, just by having the dumbbell or kettlebell that you have in your house. And then Sarah leads a lunch, like we call it the power lunch, where it's just a body weight workout that people can do, and we live stream that. So the whole idea is on any given week, we were offering 15 different workout options for people. They had the equipment rental, and then I also assigned all of my coaches to like 20 to 30 members, and everyone got an accountability coach. So we would have like weekly motivational emails and like Zoom calls just to keep everyone engaged. So honestly, we were very fortunate in that we didn't really lose too many members during quarantine. I cut everyone's membership price in half while we're not at the gym. So that kind of made it a no-brainer for a lot of people to kind of stick around. And we're just fortunate that we live in an area that most of our members are still working from home and getting paid. So we didn't lose a whole lot. We had like maybe 10 or 15 members who had to cancel for financial purposes, but like out of the 150 members that we had, we still have like 130 something right now, and everyone's kind of like ready to get fired back up and get started. So, and like I've been, for the last week or so, I've actually been having to turn people away that have been reaching out online, like, hey, when are you guys reopening? I'm like, I'm not exactly sure, but also it's going to be members only for at least the first couple of weeks. And then once our capacity can go up, we'll be able to accept more people. So I think the future is right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Amazing.
All right. Well,
And it's nice if people are reaching out to you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
If
no,
people
go
are
ahead,
reaching
'cause I
out,
was
you
gonna
can
switch
point
to the
them
drunk
towards.
question.
Yeah, well, me too. It's nice that you can, if people reach out, you have an online something that you can point them towards.
Yeah,
Take them into the gym, but here it is.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the future of fitness is if you want to be a reputable gym and if you want to have a leg to stand on, you have to offer both an online something and an in-person something. Because even after quarantine, like I have a few members who just aren't comfortable coming back to the gym yet. Like Eric and Angela, they live with Angela's mother in their penthouse, and they just don't want to risk getting COVID so that because she's elderly and they don't want to potentially put that on her. So they said that they're just going to keep working out at home even after we're open for at least the first like 2 weeks. So yeah. I just want to keep offering as much as I can to have people get healthy, get fit. And I think that this has shown people that like having a strong heart and strong lungs is important for just general life survival, because if you have those things, even if you get COVID, you're less likely to have as severe of a case. One thing that's interesting, so I told you, like me and my coaches, we got tested. So me, Sarah, Joelle, and Jan all came back negative for antibodies, which means we never had coronavirus. We do not currently have coronavirus. But Victor, one of my coaches, he came back positive for it. So that means at some point he had it. I remember in February, he was like, Dre, I don't feel good. Can you cover my classes this week? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And like he said that he had like the worst flu that he'd ever had in his entire life. And like that was, in fact, he had the coronavirus, which is crazy to think. But the other crazy thing about it is we've had a number of members who have gotten the antibodies test too, and like none of our members have it or have had it either. So even though one of our coaches had it, I think we've always done a pretty good job about cleaning stuff and like not like licking each other. So we didn't. So the coronavirus was not spread at my gym before, and we have a lot of measures in place now to make sure that we keep everything clean going forward as well.
Nice. All right. Max, do it. Do the important question.
The most important question. This is actually, I think, oddly enough, the only question we've made sure to ask everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone that we've had on here. How great is alcohol? And how...
Can I tell you something?
You're leading the witness.
Can I tell
what
you
is your
something
stance
funny?
on alcohol and training? And
can I tell you something funny? You know how when I moved over into the kitchen, I said, "Oh man, I spilled something." You want to know what I spilled?
Vodka, beer. It was a vodka. It was a
Bon Vive.
That's a Bon Vive.
Mick
Spiked
Ultra.
seltzer.
What is up? That's how we met.
It's practically
was at that event.
It's practically like drinking Gatorade after work. Great. And then also,
you heard it here,
what I'm
folks.
using to prop up? You know what I'm using to prop up the laptop right now, so that it's at like eye level and not at my crotch. I'm gonna show you.
Oh, fancy.
Wow.
That's a box of wine. That's a box of wine.
Did you buy it because it has the word box on it?
No, I actually, I don't know if you guys have ever had black box wine, but it actually wins like it has like more than 50 gold medals in the wine world because it's like the quality of like a regular wine that you would get, but instead of you paying for the bottle and the cork, it's all just in a plastic bag inside of a box. So they pass the savings on to you. So you might spend normally, to get that much wine.
No free ads here.
Oh, sorry.
We get it. I'll buy it.
They don't pay me. I just like it. So anyway.
Oh, they should.
No free lunches. Anyway, alcohol and training. I've enjoyed alcohol for most of my adult life. So when I was a banker, I used to be like a full-time drinker and a part-time banker. I would literally go out to the bar every night when I lived in Pittsburgh and just like get after it. Not in a fitness kind of way, but like let's get after it and drink a whole bottle of Jameson because it's a Wednesday. And so I think that we should all have a healthy relationship with alcohol, and that you probably shouldn't drink it when you first wake up in the morning, but after you crush it in the gym and you're having dinner, if you want to have a glass of wine or a beer or Jameson on the rocks, then or a whole box. You're pretty much you're very selfless. When you drink out of a box, I feel like I'm an environmental advocate. Think about all those glass bottles and stuff that I'm saving.
Whatever.
Yeah, think of the ducks and the dolphins, man. It's all about the ducks and the dolphins. So, I think alcohol, you can have a healthy relationship with alcohol and still like manage to have a body as well. But it's really just all about portion control, like everything that you do, right? I think if you're going to drink alcohol, drink it the way that it should be with minimal mixers, right? So if you're going to have your Jameson, you may have some soda water. You may have some regular water. You may have some ice, but you don't need Coca-Cola. Plug for Greg Glassman. Coke will kill you.
Yeah.
It all comes full circle.
Oh man.
Yeah. So no, I think that you can have a healthy relationship with alcohol. Especially during quarantine, man, we've been getting after it. We've been getting alcohol delivery at least once a week. It's nice. Yeah, so it's good to, we stock up for the week. We get like 2 cases of Bon Vive and a couple of boxes of wine, and then maybe either a bottle of Jameson. I just bought a bottle of Hendrick's last week, the gin. So been sipping on that as the weather gets a little bit warmer. Yeah.
And do you feel the same way about sandwiches?
I love sandwiches. Who doesn't like? Do you actually ask everyone about sandwiches?
No, I'm asking because you said it in the beginning. And recently, someone
to let the listeners know, we talked to him beforehand, and we were like, "So, is there anything you want to plug?" And he's like, "I don't know. Let's talk about sandwiches." That's great.
But recently, someone insinuated that a sandwich wasn't healthy, and it sort of blew my mind. It was like, "Whoa,
carbohydrates, meat."
Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know.
What do you mean? No,
maybe
man.
You're making the wrong sandwich.
Yes, I guess so. I don't know.
That's such a wide range of what a sandwich is. That's absurd.
Right. I think it's all about the meat to bread ratio, right? So like you want bread, that is fine, but you want like this should be as much meat in between those pieces of bread. Protein should always be like the major centerpiece of any given meal, so that you can spend your carbohydrates on fun stuff like this.
Love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Allie,
Right, well, thank you so much for talking with us.
Question for you, Allie. Does Mick Alter, do they give you stuff?
Oh, they gave me our friendship. I've gone to their events and stuff, but otherwise, no.
The best gift of all.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should talk to them. Maybe we can get them to like sponsor, and we can have like a Allie and Andre drink off. We can do like a power hour.
Oh, yeah, beer mile, AMRAP shots.
Yeah.
Isn't a
Like,
power
as soon
hour
as they
an EMOM? Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's just an EMOM. It is an EMOM. It is an EMOM.
It is.
So we could let's program the Allie and Andre drinking game right now. This is going to be event one.
You want to come on my fitness channel? Let's shoot this remotely.
Yeah, this is going to be one. This is going to be event 1 of the FFG. You got to get drunk first to start the weekend. And so event 1 is a power hour. Okay, that's an EMOM. Every minute on the minute, you got to do a shot of beer.
That's just the buy-in.
That's the buy-in. Then I think we can go into an AMRAP of you got a bottle of your choice of alcohol. You can call it Jameson, gin, whatever you want. And then you got...
Where's the working out? What about the burpees?
Oh, yeah, you can...
Jameson burpees. Oof, brutal.
Have you guys ever played Burpee Blind Flip Cup? It sounds just like it is. So if you've ever played a game of Flip Cup and things ever come to a tie, what you do is you blindfold people across the table, and then you have to drink your drink, do a burpee, come back to the table, find your cup while blindfolded, flip your cup, and then make it. And then whoever makes it is the winner of Flip Cup.
Oh my god.
Tiebreaker.
Yeah. But yeah, we can add some burpees into the AMRAP.
I love it.
We can do the
blind
beer mile.
burpees over bar flip.
Have you ever done the beer mile?
Have I?
Ellie is a pro. She's a pro beer
to the point where I sneak beers into my gym so I can train the beer mile on a treadmill.
Good. What's your fastest time?
Well, I feel like it was cheating because I was on a treadmill, and it was like 8 something, and the beers had already been opened, so like chugging was easier.
I don't know. I think that you should get points for doing it in the gym. I think that requires that's more heroic than going to a track and just cracking open beers. Like you broke into your gym, or not broken, you paid for your gym membership, but you brought beers in, which I think is a banned substance in gyms.
I brought 4 separate fitness water bottles that were weirdly fuzzy.
Have you ever heard of a gym that said like you can't drink alcohol in here?
Huh.
I don't think I've ever seen that in the rules.
Explicitly, yeah, I don't.
Right, and you got to imagine like in some of those, there's some gold gyms where there are guys like putting steroids in their butts in the bathroom. So I figure if you can do that, you could drink a beer.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Cool. All right, guys. Digression.
Yeah, oh, we're good. I'm totally gonna hit you up to make you do a remote workout.
Let's go.
Drinking with me.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was
awesome.
a lot of fun. Yeah, cool. Nice to meet you, Max.
So great reconnecting.
Nice to meet you. Where can we find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at André Cruz, as it scrolls across the screen. Just one word. That's my name. ANDRECREWS. No relation to Terry, but I can do this.
Yes!
So I got that going.
I'm so
for me.
glad we switched to video podcasting.
Yes. and then my gym is 150 Bay Fit. You can same thing at 150 BAYFIT. So if you're in Jersey City, sometime after July, come and check us out when the world resumes some sense of normalcy.
Love it.
Cool.
All
and also,
right,
if you own a CrossFit affiliate, unaffiliate. That's more important than coming to my gym. We do not need to support and pay racist people. So if you own a CrossFit affiliate, just cancel it. Just stop. Just don't do it. Be a functional fitness gym. You can do the same stuff and have more fun because you don't have to pay somebody money to do it.
Love it.
Cool.
All right. Thank you to the Fitheads too, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys. Bye.